And that brings me to our final Webflow announcement today. Let's talk about the third major pillar of software development, and that's logic.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time on the channel, I'm Garrison. I make videos about technology, design, culture, and communities. So, Webflow just had their 2-day online event, No Code Conference 2021. Now, if you're watching this video, I assume you probably know what Webflow is, but in case you don't, they're basically an amazing website design platform. You can use it to build any layout you could build using straight up HTML and CSS, but without having to waste a bunch of time and energy coding it yourself. You can build advanced custom animations, custom databases, and e-commerce stores all within their visual development interface. But yeah, this really isn't an ad for Webflow or anything, but I've been using Webflow for work and for my personal site for years now. Link in the description if you want to check it out. And I'm a big fan of their product and their mission. At the heart of their mission is what they call the no-code movement. So that's why their conference is called No Code Conf. The conference is still pretty new, and this is only the second one they've done, I believe. The first one was in person in San Francisco back in 2019, and I was lucky enough to be able to actually travel there and attend. It was absolutely amazing as a designer to be able to go and be able to be around others who use Webflow and honestly just nerd out. I got to meet some amazing new people. Like here's a photo of me with Ryan Miyoshi, who is an extremely amazing designer and was Webflow's lead brand designer at the time. So yeah, this year it was all online for obvious reasons, and my boss let me take a couple days off work so I could attend the conference. And yeah, in this video I just want to share some of my impressions on what went down, because spoiler alert, it was a really good year. So day one of the conference kicked off with a keynote presentation from Webflow's CEO, Vlad. The most exciting and most impressive feature announced, in my opinion, is called Logic. Basically, Webflow has been good for design and database stuff, and has been for years now. But the missing piece of the puzzle, logic, is finally here. This new logic capability allows designers to specify custom workflows and automations based on things the users do within their site. If this works well and is as powerful as they say it is, this could open up a whole new universe for Webflow designers. Imagine being able to create app-like websites using only Webflow. Something that people can interact with and make things happen in. In the demo, they were showing something like a job board, and they were able to set up an automation that when someone submitted a freelance job request with the price set to higher than a certain price, that job got added to the jobs database and is also marked as a premium job. Up until now, the only way to add things to a database was for the website admin to add it themselves. This opens up Webflow's already amazing database features to so many new uses, because now, for the first time, we can also let users add things to databases as well. This is how I understand it anyways. It's honestly really hard to fathom all the ways that this could be used, but I really think this is going to be game-changing. I feel like Logic could allow designers to take on a whole new category of client projects previously only available to full-stack web developers. Webflow will likely be so much more useful for so many more kinds of projects after this is launched. But Logic allegedly won't be coming out until next year sometime. But it's certainly exciting. The next big feature announced is memberships, which includes, finally, user database features. This is really exciting because it'll make it a lot easier to use Webflow to create subscription-based websites with gated content. Webflow describes the feature like this. With memberships, the sky's the limit. You can create members-only experiences and personalize that experience for your users. If you're a freelancer or an agency, you'll now be able to create gated client-only sections, all while having complete control over the design. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this feature for a long time. There's been parts of the Webflow community that have jumped through hoops to get memberships working on their sites using third-party tools like MemberStack, and I think there was probably a sigh of relief from a lot of developers when this was announced. Besides that, there was also some other stuff like collaboration and new team roles, but for me, the logic and membership features are by far the most exciting. But there's also some new design features too. Background filters are here, so we'll finally be able to implement that trendy, blurred, frosted glass look right in the Webflow designer. I've tried getting this to work in Webflow in the past, and I just couldn't figure it out. So it's really nice to know that we'll finally be able to do this natively in Webflow. They finished off the keynote with a gorgeous motion graphics video going over all the features announced during the event, and it was just amazing. I'm not sure who does their motion graphics, whether it's someone in-house or an outside agency, but bravo, it was just the right amount of inspiring while not being too cheesy. So once the keynote was over, then all the different talks began. They had talks from all different people in the design community, and there was no way anyone could see them all, since there was like 6 of them happening at any given time. So I had to pick and choose which ones I really wanted to see. The first one that I caught was by Timothy Ricks, who has an amazing YouTube channel, by the way. I'm a huge fan of him, so I was really excited to see his talk. Timothy specializes in design forward and really out-of-the-box microsites. His talk was all about how to create non-standard, extra creative landing pages for your clients. He argued that mini, almost game-like experiences can create a higher quality and more memorable and shareable and viral websites than your typical landing page. One example he gave was a website that he built for his agency that was like a little record player. The concept was to promote their agency's birthday, I believe, and the concept was like they were inviting the visitor to be the DJ at the birthday party. I absolutely love this talk by Timothy, and I highly recommend checking it out. I'm going to put links down in the description of each of these talks as well, so definitely check that out. Next, I caught a talk from some Webflow team members called Accessibility at Webflow, how we design with disability in mind. This one was pretty good, and I definitely gleaned some new information about how to design web pages for everyone. The talk said that as designers, it's our responsibility to meet people where they're at and not take for granted that users will be able to see and use your website properly. 1 in 4 adults has a disability of some kind, so accessibility shouldn't be thought of as a feature to be added after launch. It should be planned and implemented into your designs from the beginning planning stages of your project. They also shared their accessibility checklist, which I haven't seen before. I'm definitely going to be using this on future projects. And the last talk I want to mention in this video is one that I attended about how to use design systems to make your website design and development work in Webflow more scalable. The team that put this talk on literally has god-tiered design system skills. They basically have a huge design system in Figma that they create first, like with reusable components for literally every aspect of their website. They then create each component pixel for pixel in Webflow and name everything super detailed. Basically, this is a lot of work up front, but once that initial work is done, it allows them to implement their websites really quickly and easily because everything's so organized. I feel like I need to watch this talk 3 more times to fully grasp what they're doing, but this is something I really want to learn more about because sometimes I feel like my class naming gets really chaotic in my Webflow projects. And yeah, so like I said, if you want to check out any of these talks, I'm going to include links to them in the description below. So these sessions and talks were super fun and I learned a lot. But while this was all happening, there was also the speed build competition happening as well. This was super fun to watch. So contestants were given a brief and had just 2 weeks to prepare and practice their builds. Basically, they had to start with a blank Webflow project, and they only had 5 minutes to build their experience and compete against each other to see who had the most impressive project. The audience could vote on their favorite, and the winner would move on to the next round. Everyone did an absolutely fantastic job with their speed builds. They were basically building full screen animations and the most beautiful things in only a few minutes. It was so crazy to watch and so much fun as well. The prizes were pretty good too, honestly. Webflow was giving away new MacBooks, iPad Pros, and thousands of dollars in prize money. When I was watching it, it was really hard to choose who to vote for because everyone did so good. But one of my favorite speed builds was a face-off between 2 designers named Elsa and Harshit. Their brief was that they had to build a site with a blasting off theme. So they both picked rocket ships, and as you can see from the footage, basically they both had pretty different concepts, but they turned out really amazing. But yeah, just wildly creative and impressive. This was all done in only a few minutes using Webflow. If you attended the conference, let me know what you thought by leaving a comment. And if you liked the video and want to support my channel, please consider subscribing. I'm working on some videos I'm really excited about. So yeah. In conclusion, at the end of the 2-day conference, I came away really impressed with the event. In some ways, having it all online was a lot easier than having it in person. I was able to really pick and choose what sessions I wanted to attend. I didn't have to travel or anything, and I could just soak up as much info as I possibly could. But with that said, I am still hoping that we can all gather again in person someday. And thank you so much, Webflow, for putting this on totally for free. It really feels like Webflow as a company is starting to discover who they are and nail down their processes. It's amazing to see a glimpse at how they think internally, and I think that they have really big dreams for the future of their product. A product which thousands of designers around the world use to create their income and livelihoods, myself included. I wonder what kinds of things we'll be able to build in Webflow in 5 years or even 10. That's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.